We welcome you into another episode of Talking Blizz with Joey Bonadonna, and this week we welcome in Blizzard defensive back number 1, Ravarius Rivers. Vi, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. It's great to be here.
Thanks for your time this week, and coming off of a huge win this week against the Frisco Fighters, now moving up to second in the Eastern Conference, tied for the lead in the Eastern Conference. An interesting tiebreaker with conference record, but now here on out, you guys control your own destiny for hosting playoff football. What was that win like for this franchise?
Well, the win was great. The win was a great win. We don't really care about the standings and all of that type of talk. You know, the playoff seeding is important. We definitely want a home stretch where we're in the playoffs. We can play in front of our great crowd and we get that roar from, all those Blizzard fans. But we're just focused on going out there and playing great football. But it was definitely a great win. We had a lot of work involved in handling from an ownership, coaching standpoint to all the way trickle down to the equipment guys and stuff. So shouts out to you, Sam.
And this week we'll break it down. We were just talking a little bit before. It was a slow start for you guys defensively. Frisco got off to a start where they scored 3 times in their first 3 possessions. But after that, you guys kind of took control of that game defensively. You yourself had an interception. What was that click like for you guys on the defensive side of the ball and getting that momentum back to your side?
It was good. We thought about what we had to do on a sideline, when stuff happened. But one thing we didn't do was panic. We didn't panic from any standpoint. We made sure that we were listening to our coaches. We weren't getting our feelings about stuff that was happening. But adjustments were made, and, we got the job done.
And your secondary this year, you're one of the key returners from this squad. Sean Steele, one of the other ones, he's been on IR. So it's been a lot of new guys on this defensive side of the ball. But what has that adjustment been like for seeing those guys develop from camp all the way here now to the midpoint of the season? Where have they grown to being an IFL defensive back and seeing this defense grown to where it's been back to number 1 in the league?
Yeah, I honestly think we've got the best defensive back group in the whole league. I think multiple guys are or should be, running up for all IFL teams, in my opinion. But I think their growth through camp and through the season has been tremendous. Those guys have been in the playbook. They've done what they had to do on and off the field, put in the extra work, and it's all shown. This stuff isn't surprising me one bit. It's no surprise because I've seen it every day since I've been in camp with these guys, and I'm glad that we have them, and we're going to keep doing great things.
And we've seen, just looking at the stats coming into this week, you and Sintel Williams, 2 of the top tackling defensive backs in the league. Kevin Ransom has one of the most top pass breakup numbers in the IFL. The snow-fly zone, as I've called it, is fully in effect. One of the top pass defenses in the IFL and number 1 by most stats as you look at that. What pride do you take in that, being a part of that unit, knowing that that's a big part of helping this team win games?
I take all the pride in it. I'm a prideful player. I take everything personal when I'm on the field. It's because it's personal to me. I love the game, and the game it can love you back. It might not, so you got to play it how you have to. But I think us being the top defense is just a testament to the will of our team, the will of our captains, and just the way we do things on defense. We put belt to behind. We got a different way of saying it, but that's the way I said it on the podcast.
And this week, or this year rather, compared to last year, the defense wasn't really up to standards, really, as Coach Roberson has put it, with how this team has been over the years. Coming into year 2, what went into that decision of wanting to come back and bring that defense back to where it's usually been? And for you personally, what has that transition been like coming into year number 2, taking a bigger leadership role and things like that of that nature, trying to become one of the best defensive backs in the IFL?
I think my leap from year 1 to year 2 was a tremendous leap, in my opinion. I think I played pretty good last year, coming midway through the season and stuff, but I was still a rookie, still getting my feet wet, learning the game and all of that. But now I think I have a good hold on how this game is supposed to play, what the offense is really looking to do, and the weak points in the defense, So I'm just trying to get everyone else that's new on board, because this is definitely a learning curve. And I think my job as a leader, as a captain of this defense, is to do my best to accelerate that curve, making sure that we know what we're doing at all times and being able to not have to think about the play, and we're able to just react to stuff and just play fast. And
I did want to break down a play from this past game, that interception that you had, that really at that moment that felt like the time that you guys kind of put your stamp on this game and took it into control. First play of the drive, Trip Harrington, former Blizzard quarterback, now it was your opponent in this game, throws a deep shot, overshoots his man, and you were kind of out there playing center field on the play. You come down with the interception. What went through your mind on that play, trying to obviously a big momentum shifter in your guys' favor?
Well, it's funny that you called it like that. I was playing like a deep safety role. We was actually playing man-to-man. We were in cover zero and film study. I knew a route he was running. I ran the route for him, and shouts out to Sean Steele. We talked about it in practice about how I should play this route, because I was playing it a different way, and we didn't really get the results that we knew that we wanted, and we had a good talk about it and stuff. And that's the part of holding players accountable, being able to come to one another. So shouts out to Sean for telling me that. He really helped this play happen. But I saw it happening. He ran a deep corner route. We broke down the film. We knew the tendencies that they had. We knew they had to come out and try to take a shot. And we got a tremendous D-line. We don't think anybody can block them. So, hey, Coach, just in the house. And we know we got good DBs in the back end. So that's a win-win for us. And, yeah, I saw him running the route. The ball was thrown. I saw it was overthrown. And when the ball was in the air, I just already knew it was mine. That's just how I look at it.
And talking about how all facets of the game, your defensive line this year has been pretty superb. Rafiq Abdul-Wahid and Sean Mustin have been two of the top defensive linemen by most statistics. You guys have brought in a few new names over the past week or so. Loreo Ladipo, Darren Brown, Chris Biggers has been a big part of the defensive line as well. Looking at that unit, you get to play behind them. What have you seen from them this season, now coming into Week 11?
I've seen guys absolutely destroy their matchup, the man lined up in front of them. Our defensive line has been tremendous this year. They really make everything go, starting up in the middle and with Rafiq as well. We definitely have the best D-line by far in the IFL. So, and we're only getting better. Now we have that depth. Now we can rest those guys. Now they can give us 100% every play that they're in, because they know the guys that are coming in are able to make just as much plays and have an effect on the game the same way that they do. So I think all of that starts in practice. The guys that we've been bringing in, they see the standard that we've set, the standard that we're playing at, and they've jumped their games up to be able to play to that. And it's a great job on the coaching staff by recruiting these guys that come from winning backgrounds and have a winning attitude, and don't harp and moan on the little things. We just want to get better, which is what it's all about. And
also, piggybacking on all facets of the game, we saw in that stretch that kind of turned the game around. You were down 21-7, and the offense punches in, gets a touchdown. Andrew Mevis gets a deuce, gets 2 points on the board. Then that defensive line gets a safety to now put you guys back 21-17, getting the football back. But special teams has been a big part of this team, and contributing on special teams, making big-time stops on the kickoff return. What has been that motivation? I know you've made some big plays out there on special teams. There's a big buy-in on that side of the football. What's that been like this year, and that emphasis from Coach Roberson?
Well, we challenge each other. We go at it in practice enough to know that, hey, when you get in the game, it's not going to be as hard as it was in practice, and that makes great plays in the game. So I think we do a great job in challenging each other during the drills, giving each other great looks, and the emphasis from Coach Robe and Coach Tate as well has been great. So they've been on their timing and been able to give us the right direction and coaching on the fly during the drills, making sure everyone gets their reps and we're able to translate on game day.
And here's one thing that I did want to bring up that we've seen around over the last few weeks. There's a big fathead of you that's been hanging around the bench. Can you tell me the story behind that and how that's been around being around the team this year?
Well, that's thanks to my lovely mother. I love you, Mom, if you're listening. But, yeah, she got that made, and, she surprised me with it. And, yeah, it's still here, actually. It might do some crowd surfing, with some fans that come on the road to this game in Iowa. It's definitely going to make its appearances from here on out.
And I was pretty sure the first time I'd seen it was that when it was at the last home game against Iowa, or was it in Quad City? I can't remember.
It was the last home game in Iowa, yeah. So the first time.
So now it's getting a chance to potentially go on the road and go back to Iowa. But let's talk about this matchup with Iowa. You've seen the last two times you played them. You got them at home, and you got two big wins against them this past game. You made some big-time plays that unfortunately won't go down in the record books, but we'll remember them. But now getting a chance to finish off the sweep against this team they've gotten two of their last three and probably should have won this past week against Quad City. That was a big win for the Steamwheelers. We went back and forth, but now you get a chance to face them at home. What goes into this matchup of knowing that every game matters in the Eastern Conference from here on out and a chance to finish off the sweep against this team?
Well, I'm going to start by saying that they are a worthy opponent. I give my credit where credit is due, and these guys, they put their pads on just like us, and we just like them, So they have that will to fight. They've made upgrades in their roster to try to get better and try to compete, and that's exactly what they've been doing. So I'm excited for it. We've been preaching to the guys, it's not going to be easy. Both games we had against them were one-possession games, so we have to remember that this team is scrappy and they want to fight and they want to win. So we have to go there, we have to finish the sweep, and we got to keep this momentum rolling.
And you mentioned the changes that they've made over the last few weeks, and you've seen new quarterback Kyle King in this last game against them, but what have you seen progressively out of their pass offense and what the challenge that they bring in that matchup?
Well, I truly enjoy the challenge. I like the fact that they want to air the ball out. It makes it fun for me. So I'm excited to see it. They do a lot of eye candy. They do things that might get you rattled a little bit with the way they run their high motions and stuff like that. But everything breaks down to football, and when it breaks down, we all fall to the level of our training. And right now, we've trained ourselves to be autonomous. We aren't really thinking about what we got to do because we know what we have to do.
And then finally, the thing I want to wrap up with is you mentioned before we started, the switch from number 22 to number 1 this year. What went into that decision of knowing that you wanted that change and that jersey number here coming into season 2?
Well, I like the number 22. I've played in it before, but the jersey number 1, I've never had it, and I think it suited me well. This year being the leader of our team, leader of our defense, and being able to have that effect on, guys coming in. They look at stuff like that, like, okay, he's number 1, so he must be, good. And even though it's just a jersey number, but, deep down inside, we all want number 1. So I saw the opportunity, and I just felt like this was a good year to show it, and I'm glad I've been able to make plays in it, the same way it's been done all these years before.
Absolutely. And finally, wrapping things up, anything that you want to say for Blizzard Nation? Obviously, again, another big one against the Barnstormers on the road. Any parting words that you want to go with before we sign off here?
It's going to be a good one. It's going to be a great one. I'm excited for it. It's going to be a lot of action. Of course, it's going to be a lot of momentum swings, but I guarantee you that we're going to get the win and we're going to pull out on top because I think we believe. Well, I know we believe. And this year, one more is our motto. So we got one more win to do, and that's the most important one. So this week against Iowa.
Absolutely. Appreciate your time this week, Vi, and thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Talking Blizz. Again, game this week on the road at the Iowa Barnstormers on a Friday night will be a big one in the Eastern Conference. Thanks again for tuning in. And as always, go Blizz.